Hey, and good morning. Welcome to Glue Wednesday. I'm just quickly checking oh, good. I'm just quickly checking my text messages to see what's going on with my new life. And those of you, are you on the broadcast? I always come on early. So just right now, you got less than 4 minutes if you need to still run and get something to eat or drink. But I always come on early to let Facebook build the audience. That's a different school of thought. Some people say don't come on until you start the broadcast. But I believe, especially in the day, during the daytime, when you're broadcasting and someone is going to be trying to come on live, they may have things going on already. You know how you plan things and then your day gets caught up. So they may need that quick message to say, oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's right. Sporty's on live. Let me just close this out. So that's why I always come on live, a few minutes before my message time so that Facebook can send out the message to everybody. Hey, what's up, Haas? And then I keep my other computer on because when the technology, I always try to remind people, whenever I can get a technology tip in there, I make sure that I get it in there. All right. So I get those shout outs from my people who come in and thank them for being here. But I'm using what's called StreamYard. And StreamYard, we've all heard about Zoom, but StreamYard has a connection also to help you do a Facebook Live. And that's how I can do the streamers that go across the banners like you see right now where it says, hey, Sporty, that's what stream, and see, and I can take that out. Then also you see my logo up there in the corner, right? That's something else that I can do with StreamYard, okay? So, learn new technology, find some ways, and really start to have a ball with your life because this is the only life you get. Remember, it's not dress rehearsal. You are going to get this life, and you need to do all you can with it to make it the dream come true that you wanted it to be. And guess what? You will actually, don't get me wrong, don't think it's morbid, but you can have your life the way you want it until the last day. Until the day you die, because you could still have that positive image and attitude about what's going on in your life. And then, so you're feeling good. And then God says, okay, you've done well. It's time for you to go. And so your last thought, your last breath was a good one. That's the way I look at it. Again, not looking for death, but recognizing that one day, if just from natural causes, I could be gone. So we got less than 2 minutes to go for today's message. But that's always my underlying message is how important it is to enjoy life. And sometimes what we have to realize is in enjoying life, you need to be comfortable talking about death. I'm about to be 65. I call it my Medicare year, right? And, once you get to a certain age, you start experiencing more deaths of friends and relatives. So, and it almost becomes an expectation. We don't want to become desensitized to it, but it becomes a new part of your life is getting a message that someone is gone. So don't get so caught up that you give COVID all the credit for deaths. People are dying regardless of COVID. People are dying from non-COVID. So I do want to put an extra prayer in for one of my mothers, my Tennessee mother, Dorothy Blakely. I know she's in with COVID as well right now. So, pray for her because she's in her 80s where you're supposed to be more susceptible. And so she's in there. So, say that extra prayer for me. And which say, a good number, right? A good number of people. Yeah, right now, COVID's got 170,000, over 170,000. But guess what? There have been more deaths than that, period. Okay, so we're not going to really talk about that. It's less than a minute for today's message. But I did want to just, say that that's part of what I do with Glue Wednesday. It's about picking people up. And Wednesday has often been the cliche of hump day because it's in the middle of a 5-day work day. Excuse me, us old school people, we just did weekdays and weekend. So, it was a traditional Monday to Friday. So Wednesday was hump day. Well, not everyone works Monday to Friday. And I say that Wednesday is the middle of a traditional 7-day week because it doesn't matter when you work. A week is from Sunday to Saturday. So Wednesday is the day in the middle of a traditional 7-day week. It keeps the week beginning and the week end together. Puts us right in my favorite mode, a prayerful mode. And that's why I call it the glue, Glue. God's love undoes everything. Not that it tears things apart, but what's torn apart, it will bring it together. So I think it's more important for us to look at Wednesday as not as a day that we need to get over, but a day that we need to keep it together. And doesn't that make it every day? Because that's all one of the things I've been doing as well is I had Glue Wednesday going on. And then when the pandemic hit, I expanded it to Glue Monday and Friday, because we have to make sure that that we're keeping it together every day. So, hey, Roger Carroll, and a hello to all. And, see, again, this is a part of our life, y'all. This is the technology. So I've got friends and family who have become friends and family. So when Roger Carroll says hello all, because she's a regular listener, and then when let me see where, because I know Haas usually says it too. All right, but we get it. We got some of my regulars on, and I'll give them shout outs because I love them to death. I meant age 60. Oh, you meant age 65 is a good number. Okay, because you said a good number. I thought, see, this is what communication is all about, and this is one of the challenges we have with technology. But check it out, it's a challenge that we can overcome. We can meet with the right spirit. So it can have two meanings. When he wrote a good number, and I thought he was talking about the number of people. A good number of people have died. See, that's why it's so important to use full sentences in our verbal communications especially, but also you get a chance to do it in writing. But isn't it even better that someone's open to understanding and I said to him, this is what I understood you to say, and said now he gets to say, no, that's not. When in upgrading your communication skills and upgrading your listening skills, you get two options that what you want to do. You can parrot or you can paraphrase. Now, when you parrot, you say exactly what the person said. So I'm understanding you to say, and you repeat word for word what they say, or you can paraphrase. So in other words, are you saying this, and then you take what they say and you put it into your words, and then that completes the communication and let them know that you are listening. And that's how you can get things solved and connected better. So it becomes thoroughly important. And then also ask questions. Listening is the number one communication skill, but questions are what get you to really enjoy the blessing of listening. So let me look at some of the other things. And so anyway, he said also 65 is a good number, and it is. And isn't one a good number? And two and three. And so at 65, we're starting to have a life that experiences more death. And that's okay, because we're God's children. And we are thankful that we've got 65. So thank you, Haas. Vic says hello. Yep. Good to see him at the Sporty Fam, because he's the fan. That's what we are. We become family. That's how you introduce. Think about it. When people talk about give me a job referral, I'm moving to another city. Can you give me a name? See, it's referrals. We become family. Haven't you had somebody say, well, a friend of yours is a friend of mine, which ain't always true. But I guess at least it's something that we can say and think about. So there goes Haas saying, hey to Roger Carroll. Never met in person. Haas is in New York, Roger Carroll's in Illinois. Okay, so but that's what we do, y'all. We connect people. Like they say 3 degrees of separation. I know they say 6, but I say 3 because technology has picked up the pace. So you always know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, which is also why you should always be conscious of your reputation as well. All of this is connected. Don't ever think it's not. All right. Yes, I can see you. I see you, Vic. Well, obviously. Okay. All right. Hey, what's up, Tina? Dr. Barnes, Small Ernestine. That's my Tina. That's my. What is that? You made me go to food, right? I think it was my sweet potato pie that she's the expert at. Go on and let me know for sure, Tina. All right, but greed is my name, and a yes from Haas is always good. Yes is one of my favorite answers, by the way. No starts a lot of good conversations, though, and so does okay. All right, and so my last shout out before I get to the message, Sporty, what's happening? Most High in Christ bless you and your household. Yes, thank you, Pat, because I remember when you came on, was it last week? It was good to see you then. So good to see you again, and most high blessings to you as well, because that's really what it's all about. All right, Vic, laughing out loud. Okay, so let's get it down to today's message, because you saw me put it in the thread. The message is mistakes. But look at that, triple question mark, mistakes? Am I really going to talk about mistakes? What are they? Wait, how did I put that in the thing? Because, what are they? Where do they put us? And can I put a positive twist on it? Well, I certainly can. Well, here's the definition of mistakes. They say it's a noun. It's an action or judgment that is misguided or wrong. A mistake is an action or judgment that is misguided or wrong. And here it is used in the sentence, coming here was a mistake. But here's what I say. Look at that first definition, an action or judgment that is misguided or wrong. I want to focus on the word action. It's an action. You took action. See, I believe that even though and I'm not saying there's no such thing as a mistake, but let's get creative. Let's make sure that we use our vocabulary to keep ourselves positive. We took action. And sometimes the action that you take will not get you the outcome that you sought. It was a mistake coming here. Okay. But you took action. You went. What would have happened had you not gone to that place that you shouldn't have gone to? You would have sat back and said, man, I should have gone. See, so now where's the mistake? Be careful of how regret will erode your life and your thought process. So you don't really make a mistake when you take action. I believe that you get a lesson. I believe that you get a chance to be a human being and find out what God has for you. Because it's misguided, based on what you think it should be. See, you make a move, you take action looking for a reaction, for a reward, and you might not get that. That doesn't mean that you went the wrong way, right? We got the converging roads, and I went this way, and then I only got this far. Man, I should have gone the other way. Do I go back and go the other way? No, maybe I got this far on this road, and I only would have gotten this far on that other road. Be careful that regret will make you erode and will make you think that you have made a mistake. Life is about taking action. Think about Joseph's brother. I put that half quote in there because I'm going to just believe that you understand the Bible, or that you've at least heard what you meant for evil, God meant for good. See, what you thought was a mistake, Joseph's brothers made a mistake. They sold him away to slavery. But God had them do that. See, that the mistake that they made, he had them do that so that Joseph could be in place for when the famine hit and he could feed and take care of his family. In fact, what else did he say to his family? He said, move from where you are and come to where I am. Doesn't God say that also? I've got a place for you. I see where you are, but I want you to know that I have a place for you. That's the same thing he did through Joseph. That's what he can do through you. So don't get so bogged down with your mistakes that you misunderstand that it's a good thing that you took an action. And now we're going to see what God is going to do. And let's think about some things that we can consider, some actions that we've taken. Okay. I'm going to give Pat one more shout out because I appreciate that, hearing that. Thank you. All praises to the Most High God. Amen. Okay. But what are some actions that you've taken? Go on and put them in the thread, but I started to list them. Have you raised children? Haven't you made some mistakes? Haven't you had some action? Have you misjudged somebody's character? Have you dated somebody? Have you dated more than one person, or did you marry your first boyfriend or girlfriend? And some people have. And then some of them are still saying that was a mistake. See, there's so many things. There's so many actions that we've taken. Have you, has anybody broken a bone, gotten sick, from eating? See, all of these things that categorize as a mistake. And I just say to you, can you find a way to make them an action? And that's the way that you can look at them. See, that's the beauty of the English language. But then that's the noun. But then the verb says that it's to be wrong about. A mistake is something to be wrong about. Okay. And here's using it in a sentence. Because I was inexperienced, I mistook. That was my mistake. I mistook the nature of our relationship. Can we reconnect that to action? See, but here's the word I want you to focus on in that sentence. Inexperienced. Because I was inexperienced, I mistook the nature of our relationship. Life was about action. Life is about experience. See, so sometimes, you have to take an action so that you can find out the reaction or the results. And now you get to get a lesson about it. You could have been wrong about it, or him or her or it. but you don't have to stay wrong. I always say I don't have to be right. I have to be sporty. And I'm not going to embrace being wrong. I know I can make a miscalculation. And yes, I can say I was wrong, but I'm not going to sit and fester in wrong. My focus was on being right. If I know that my heart and my spirit was in the right place, that I made that move with the right intention, and that's something that we need when we get into our conversations, when we talk about politics and the law enforcement. Nobody goes into, and I want to start with law enforcement because I love, our law enforcement people. They don't go in saying, "Ooh, I want to go in and be a dirty cop." They don't go in there saying that. Most of them go in saying, you know what, I saw injustice, but if I were in there, I would do this differently. So they go in, and then somewhere they can get twisted. All right. And that's the same with politicians. The majority of politicians go in because they want to help the community. And then you get in there and you get caught. And haven't you had that same thing done in your life through your job? Through hanging out with people in the park, your friends that you grew up with? We make mistakes. We can be wrong, but it's because we were inexperienced. We didn't know. We hadn't experienced that type of person or that relationship. And this is great. Roger Carroll said, "I raise a responsible adult through trial, error, and God's grace and mercy." And I know that responsible adult that she's talking about, Simone. That's one of my pizza partners here in Charlotte. When Simone first moved down to Charlotte, and then boom, didn't I say earlier how you have referrals and connections? When Simone was moving down, it's Uncle Sporty, because now I got elevated to Uncle Sporty. I'm moving to Charlotte. I've been here 10 years. She just moved here last year. I'm moving to Charlotte. Okay, and my relationship is with her mother, with Roger Carroll. She is her daughter, and so she's like, "Oh, that's my little niece." We never had a one-on-one till she now is a grown-up. She's an adult. And so she said, "Here's what I'm doing. Here's an action I'm taking with my life. I'm moving to Charlotte. Hey, can we get together?" I'm like, "Yes." Boom. Now we get together and we go out and have pizza and we laugh and joke. Met her fiance, now her husband. See, and so I get to see the progression. And so we go from a mistake to recognizing that it was an action that got us to the testimony. And we're going to hold that thought because I got that in the last part of the message. All right. But don't worry about being wrong. So here's what I decided to do. Also taking wrong. And I have a poem. I'm not going to read you the whole poem. I'm going to read you an excerpt from my poem called "I Miss Me." Okay. The poem is called "I Miss Me." And it's from my book, "I Found Out I'm Living, an Affirmation of Life." And what I want you to do is think about it, because this is where we talk about I was inexperienced and I mistook the nature of our relationship. And that's what I want to say. You don't necessarily have to be wrong, but a lot of times we learn from negativity. So here's that part in the book. In the poem, it's from "I Miss Me." It says, "My mentors would take credit while giving me praise. They'd help me relive memories and cherish new days. Oh, how I would laugh at the tough times and the material things that were lost, and rejoice in the character they helped build. See, my life and spirit are beyond monetary cost." Here it goes. "Every enemy would stand in their place and reserve equal time to express the beauty they inspired through their negativity. Let's face it, so many of the lessons we actually learn come from disharmony. A selfish person made me want to share. A jealous person helped me recognize insecurity. A lie reminded me to tell the truth. I remember joy and pain. I like sunshine and rain. And it was a man who taught me how to be a man." So did you hear that? A liar reminded me to tell the truth. And a selfish person made me want to share. A jealous person helped me recognize insecurity. So that's why I said it's not always about us being wrong, but it's about us having a life experience that gets us where we need to go based on who we are. And that's why the poem is called "I Miss Me," because the opening line in the poem is, "I thought about changing lives with you, but I miss me already." You have to be you. That will be a regret that you will definitely have, that you'll miss being you when you try to be someone else, because you will only be successful when you choose to be yourself, because you have to find out what actions you're going to take and what roads you're going to go down. So there's my book, "I Found Out I'm Living, an Affirmation of Life." And that one is available on my website, sportyking.com. And I will give you a commercial on that again at the end. We got a comment. Hey, what's up, Bruce Brown? Welcome in, Bruce Brown. All right. So now here's where I'm going to now take the English language and have some fun with it. And this is what I love about English. This is why they say English is hard as a second language for foreigners. So I'm going to take mistake, right? We got mistake, and I'm going to take it mistake. A mistake. And the definition of a take, okay? A take is a scene or sequence of sound or vision photographed or recorded continuously at one time, right? We will have, what's your take on this, okay? And so here's the sentence. He completed a particularly difficult scene in 2 takes. He did it in just 2 sittings. But also, don't we say, I had a different take on what was going on? Doesn't that go back to the inexperienced person? So you can have a mistake. What did you not understand about what was required? See, you had a mistake on what was required in this relationship or this thing. And therefore, that was the mistake. You just had a mistake. What was really required? And now that I know better about what was required, I can deal with it in a different way. Okay, so let's pause on that. Okay, what Philip says, great lesson. Thank you. Yay, hey, good to see you, Phil. Thank you. It's a great lesson. And that's the key. Everything in our life is a lesson. But that's why it's so important to choose your messages carefully, because you will get a message. So the key is, if you're going to get the message that is going to lift your life up or tear your life down. And then now how does that relate to today? What action are you going to take? And what experience are you going to now connect that lesson to? It's always connected, y'all. It's always connected. And what's up, Veronica? Late, but not here. Imagine the people who are watching the broadcast. No one's late. The key is, that last part. I'm here. And you one of my spiritual sisters, don't we say God may not be there when you want him, but he'll be there right on time? So it's not about late. The English language is one that we get to manipulate. It's part of what I do with my speaking business, is I help people recognize that you have to control your vocabulary rather than allowing your vocabulary to control you. So sometimes just think about what you say, hear what you say, because listening is the #1 skill, and now twist it and make it work for you. And I know, and I'm just being literal, because I know what you're saying here, Ronnie. And so, and I'm not saying we're never late, but I want us to not feel bad. Let's not think that late is a mistake. Let's recognize, when we go back to the beginning of our definition of mistake, it was an action or a judgment that is misguided and wrong. Coming here was a mistake. See, somebody could mistake that lateness was coming here was a mistake because I'm late. No, you're not. Don't worry about it. So thank you. I'm just glad to see you here on live for a change, because I know you usually catch it on the remix, on the video. And there's nothing wrong with that, y'all. If you can't make it live, you're going to have the video to deal with yourself. Not a problem, okay? So remember, just sometimes recognize that your take on the situation could be wrong. You just got a mistake on what's going on. And so that's where sometimes where our frustration comes, our disappointment comes in. We hate somebody, all of that is, I got a mistake. And don't we have that situation? And because we see it in a relationship. Well, I thought you were this way. Come on. Everybody puts their best foot forward at the beginning. Take your time with the relationships. Take your time. So let's say that to our young people. But, our older people, come on, if you've had experience, don't let it jade you from deciding to seek a new relationship. Think about what your take was. What did you see that was required to keep that relationship going? Not a bad thing. Again, see, I'm erasing all of the bad. It's not about regret. It's what who said it earlier? It's the lesson. What Phil just said. It's the lesson. What did you learn? What's that second definition of verb or mistake? What was the experience? So what did you learn that you are now going to use in your next relationship? And now let's keep playing with the English language. What is my stake? See, so when they talk about what did you learn, what is my stake? See, what part did I play? And what can I lose or gain? Every action, every experience, there's a stake. You know, and oh my God, look at God. Didn't somebody put something in there about high stakes? Let me go. I just realized that somebody put that. Oh, the praise is high. Oh, let me go back and see. Oh, did I see that somewhere else that made me think about it? Okay, I saw it somewhere else in my day today where it talked about high stakes. So we got the most high. But yeah, there's a stake. You know, what's at stake with what you're doing? And so what is the stake for you? What are you going to lose or gain with this action that you're taking to get this experience in your life? Joseph's brothers, what was their stake? They had to go back and lie to their father and say that Joseph had been mauled by a wild animal. And so, one, or I think it was just two of them really were the jealous ones. Now, the rest of them had the rest of them had to join in on the lie. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Who are your messengers? The messengers are the people that you're with. I was with a group last week where somebody said, what they say, that you are the sum of the 5 people you hang with, something like that, or the average. So, yeah, so who are you spending your time with? Because what's at stake for you, this is your time. If you're around negative people, it's not about let me get the negative people out of my life. It's about them saying, let me get the positive people out of my life. If you've got negative people in your life, you've chosen to have them. You want to say, let me get them out, get them out. But more importantly, the easiest way to get them out is to be positive. Because sometimes some people's negativity is just a reaction to your spirit and to your negativity. So if they see that you tolerate negativity, then it's easy for them to stay there because it's comfortable. But if they see that they may lose you based on this, if they see that you're being positive, now you're giving, I don't want to act like you based on you telling me I need to be such and such a way. I want to emulate you because I like what you're doing. I like what I see in you, and I want to be with you, and I want more of that. How can I get more of that? I have to make a change based on what I see my stake is. Because for me to decide to be with you where you are, the way you are, because I'm still going to be me. I'm not really going to be the way you are. I'm still going to be me. So what's at stake for me if I decide to stay in this relationship with you? And I'm not just talking about a romantic relationship. We're talking about business. We're talking about friendships, and we are talking about relationships. Yeah, but it's what's at stake for you. What's that poem say? I miss me. If I'm with you, am I going to lose me? And let me tell you right now, my rule is if I lose me based on being with you, I'm not going to be with you, because that's, it's important to me. I got to tell you, in transparency, my rule used to be when I was young and on drugs and trying out my experiment with my drugs, my rule was if a drug controls me, I don't do it anymore. See, that was how my life was. I did a lot of drugs. But my rule was, you know what? If a drug controls me, I'm not going to do it anymore. And I kept to that rule. That's why I never got addicted on anything. And that's why I can say now, I can have a message that talks about saying no to drugs. But my say no to drugs message is that drugs are not the problem. Drug addiction is the problem. Say no to drug addiction, because you may make a mistake. You may make the action of deciding to try the drug. Okay, you may make the mistake, but the key is, what are you going to do now that you've experienced it? What's plan B? Okay, once you take action and you experience, now what you going to do? See, I already had a plan B, and my plan B at the time was I will try it. I'll try anything. I'll try it. But if it controls me, if I lose being who I am, I will never do it again. And let me tell you, there were a few drugs that I stopped cold turkey after one time, because I said, that stopped. I wasn't who Sporty was. I didn't. And we don't have to just use hallucinogenic drugs. We're talking about alcohol as well. Any type of addiction, smoking, cigarettes, any type of addiction. Is it stopping you from being who you are? Then that becomes something that you have to make a decision. What are you going to do? So what is your stake in it? What are you going to win or lose? Remember, life is about going from one puzzle to the next. You're either a small, medium, or large piece of every puzzle. in all of your family, social, and business relationships. Yet, no matter what puzzle piece size you see yourself as, without you, the puzzle is incomplete. So, see yourself as an important piece of the puzzle and don't lose who you are. Even, sometimes you're going to be the small piece of the puzzle, sometimes you're going to be the large. Like, if we talked about parenting, you may be the large piece of the puzzle when you're the parent, but guess what, you came from being a small piece of the puzzle when you were the child. And then depending on your birth order, you may be the oldest and you may be the largest piece, and you may be the youngest and the smallest piece. But then as time goes on, you may become the medium piece and the smaller piece becomes the large. You never know. Be okay and be open to how things ebb and flow in your life. All right. And then here, what did Vic say? Medical marijuana is great and under control. See, so we go from, oh, marijuana to now, oh, okay, we have another use and another definition of marijuana. Because you had the people back when we were smoking and we said, yeah, but it makes me feel good. And yeah, okay. So now that science has moved that along, this goes back to, again, see, the messages are always consistent and connecting. It goes back to what I'm saying about our older generation, is that how we have to learn to look at things and look at progress. See, you used to sneak and smoke a joint. Well, now certain places you can openly smoke it. Don't go out there and start getting on drugs and say, Sporty told you. Think about what you're doing and make the right moves, okay? So all of these things come in. So what's at stake for you? And then, so my last take on it is my stake. And I'm just going to respell it because this is what we can hear. See, that's the other part of communication. It's the word we hear. We can say the same word. If I say my stake, you could have heard it spelled either this way or you could have heard it spelled that way. And so when I say my stake, now this is what I was saying to you, Roger Carroll. I'll take it back to the testimony. What's my stake? What does a steak represent? Celebration. Yeah, let's put a steak on the grill. Let's celebrate. So what is my stake? How am I going to celebrate what I've just done? And here's what Roger Carroll said she did. She raised a responsible adult through trial, error, and God's grace and mercy. So that's her stake. That's the testimony that she gets to have. What's your stake? What can you say that you've done to celebrate to get your testimony? And let me step back a little because we can always add that. What cigarettes is a terrible habit. Yeah, that could be a stake. Think about how your fingers turn brown and the breath and it gets all in your clothes, But so how do you celebrate that? Because some people have stayed with someone who, even though they smoked, and they have been the person that helped them beat that habit. What's your stake? See, be careful. Be careful. We go all the way back to the beginning. We cannot let ourselves get so judgmental that we automatically, that even with a mistake, what does it say? An action or judgment that is misguided or wrong. So we can misjudge. You don't know why someone's smoking cigarettes. You don't know when they started. So to you to meet them, oh, they smoke cut, which I've done, and maybe we have done. There's certain things, yeah, you've got a deal breaker that you don't use, but you don't always know why they have the habit that they have. And it's a tough decision that we have to make. This is why I say I don't want to put it as a mistake. I want us to recognize that we made an action. We made an action and we got an experience through the action. What was the experience and what was the action? So what do we got here, Vic? Cigarettes are the worst. I never did. Pray for those who do to stop. I last week's broadcast, I made a comment, it could have been week before last, that one of the things that I quit saying, that I'm stopping saying is, I would say, just stop complaining. And then I had to hear myself and say, wait a minute. Some people's job and purpose in life is to complain. And so I had to turn my saying around and recognize that I got to be clear about what type of complaining I'm talking about. Because sometimes the complainers are the one that shine the light on the problems. So if you're a complainer, I say, well, complain. And so that us, people who are going to get things done can know what to get done. And you know, it's just how you. There's the difference between the complaining and the whining. Everything is communication and slowing down. And Deb Joy Hart, you just put it in there perfectly. Stop judging and only discerning. See, so discern instead of judge. That becomes the key. Can you understand what the person is going through? And Deb put a explanation. I don't like good or bad. I like to figure out what is pleasurable and not pleasurable. I like that. What's pleasurable and not pleasurable. Yeah, what brings you joy, which is her middle name. But what brings you joy? What brings you pleasure? Could be somebody else's addiction. It could be your addiction. Come on. You know, I mean, even when people were talking about drugs and everything, there was plenty of alcohol going around. And then they had to finally recognize, oh, that's right, you know, alcohol is a drug too. So we got labels. All right. So yeah, so that, you know, all of this stuff becomes us really slowing down. This is what this pandemic is giving so many people a chance to do, is slow down and think about what they're doing. And so, you know, again, it's what's your stake. See, that could be your stake. This could be what you're celebrating is the fact that you're getting to see a part of yourself that you hadn't seen. You're getting to learn something about yourself that you didn't know. And you're getting to learn something about someone else that you know. Why do you automatically want to put what you learned about them in a bad category instead of putting them in a good category, an aha moment of your own? If we take Deb's ha ha, we turn around as aha, you know, it's an aha moment, okay? So that's what we have to do. Now, what is Haas saying? I stopped smoking cigarettes December 93. Wow, feel great. Your body feels great too. Right, 93, that's a lot of years. How many years did you smoke, Haas? And put that in the chat for us. How many years did you smoke? You stopped in 93, but you might have started in 90. And you stopped in December 93, you might have started in August. Let me tell y'all a serious joke. When I was 14, let's go back to that word experience that we talked about, the action and experience. I had a good friend, Anthony Stanton. Anthony is Stafford, from Grant, 1315, my brother, 1305. All right, Anthony and Frank. But Anthony and I looked alike, and we always used to joke about that. And you know how, come on, kids wear the same things. Well, we did that back in the day too. So there was a certain type of coat. I never forgot. It was a burgundy hoodie. Most people had the blue or the black, but I had a burgundy one, and so did Anthony. Well, Hank Welch, another rest in peace family. Hank Welch saw Anthony smoking a cigarette, and he came and told my mother that he saw me smoking a cigarette. Now, my mother, instead of me coming in the house and her deciding that Hank told her that, but she asked me about it. And then I don't smoke. And then I realized that he saw Anthony. And then we had a chance to talk about it. But here's the point. My mother's, because her problem was, you know, don't let someone else tell me what's going on in my house. That was one of the big things. And rest in peace, last Saturday was her birthday anniversary. And she said, don't let somebody tell me what's going on in my house. If you want permission to smoke, you ask me. That's all she really cared about. So my mother gave me permission to smoke at 12, because that's what I did. I said, you know what, just in case I ever decide to smoke, let me get permission. And she said, fine. Well, I didn't touch a cigarette until I was 14. And I started smoking cigarettes, and we were in the park playing cards on the barrels. Y'all remember the barrels? And I was leaning down. When I leaned up, this pain shot through my chest. And I thought that was from the cigarettes. And I stopped smoking after 1 week of smoking cigarettes, because that pain shot through my chest. I was like, whoa, I don't want that. And that's what stopped me. So I wonder if Haas put that in. Oh, there he is. He smoked for 20 years. So from 73 to 93. So that makes a difference. See, asking questions and getting the information. Yeah. And see, that's what you need to do also when we think about the relationships we get in. See, if someone said, oh, you know what? I quit smoking in December 93. And oh, wow, that's great, man. What self-control? And then you didn't even ask the question and found out that they started in September. And so now once they do, they say, oh, I thought you had great self-control. You stopped smoking. Yeah, but I only smoked for 2 months. Ask the questions, y'all, so that you can find out what's pleasurable. What'd you say, Deb? What's pleasurable to you, so that you can know if this is a relationship, even a friendship or a business relationship that you want to have. All right. What did Vic say? Vic said, I don't want them to get sick. There you go. Made my mind. See, clarification. He's not being judgmental about you smoking. He's saying, well, here's my concern. I've seen it work against other people. So I'm just giving you an example. Just like wear your mask. They say, I don't wear the mask for me, I wear it for you. Wear your mask, right? I don't care how you feel about the pandemic. Oh, this is getting on my damn nerves. Good. Well, meanwhile, be safe. Oh, this is conspiracy theory. Good. Meanwhile, go with the theory and be safe. And so, and look at it. His mother's 90 now. How many years did she smoke, Vic? Throw that in there. Wow, what a blessing. Cool. And as what did Deb say? What do I like to cook? And how do you like it? Well done. That makes a difference. It may take you longer to cook. It may be rare. You might see there's a whole lot of decisions that you got to make when you decide, what's my stake? What's my testimony? Yeah, see, there's a whole lot of things. Oh, look at that. You just might need a little guidance. See, and Roger Carroll, and Haas, y'all were with me on my broadcast on my Masters of Change and celebrating Embracing Successes Challenge. And we talked about guidance. So it always rolls together. If y'all haven't been joining me on my Zoom sessions, you're missing a deeper part. And we've got one more coming up next Tuesday. We're going to do the letter E in the word change. But yeah, you got to ask yourself that. Thank you. You got to ask yourself questions. What do I like to cook? How do I like to cook it? Do I want it well done? Do I want it medium rare? And because they're going to ask you that when you go to a restaurant, and God's going to ask you when you get to heaven, what do you like to do? So we can put you in the right section. Because I know where I think you should go. Let me see if you know. I'm off the topic on that one. Okay, I got creative, but that's what you can do. Be creative. And you might need a little guidance, not judgment. Again, you want guidance, okay? And then would say that was God. And I don't know if she meant that was good, but that was God. And so that, I know we went through one stage. We had a good friend. He always said, God morning. Because we used to meet every month or every Saturday? It might have been every Saturday. He said, God morning instead of good morning. And isn't it? This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Y'all, the English language, this is what I'm saying. The English language is one that we can just play around with and have a ball. We don't have to be negative. What's your stake? Okay? What's your stake? How is your testimony? How will you celebrate? What's your stake? What does it mean? What is it going to cost you? What are you going to lose or gain? And that's not, I always start with the bad and end with the good. I want the last word to come to my mind was, what am I going to, gain? And then what's your take? What's your take on what's going on? What do you really know and understand about what's happening? Because that's going to make the difference so that you can look at the word mistakes and question it and figure out, what are we really talking about here? So that's what you want to always be able to do. Vic got in there. I made her stop when I was 12. He hid the cigarettes after he saw a film at PS 125, which was our elementary school. And she had been good. She's been good for over 50 years because he used to hide the cigarettes. Wow. Wouldn't it be wonderful if it could be just that easy? Okay, so there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. A blessing from your lessons. Yes, there's always a blessing in your lesson. He even has the two S's. The ESS is in blessing and in lesson. Oh my God, the LESS is in blessing and lesson. And then also LESS is less. So that means that you can do more with less. See the English language, how we can make. You don't need a whole lot. You don't need a whole lot. You just need a little to be blessed and to get a lesson. God is into working with the little bit. You don't need a whole lot of room. And so if he's working in your life, go on and accept it and enjoy it. And recognize that you're not making a mistake. You're making a life. You're doing, what others meant for evil, God meant for good. So accept him into your life and know that that's what Glue Wednesday is really all about. If you'd like a full copy of the poem, I Miss Me, then you can just send me an email at sporty@sportyking.com, and I'll send you a copy. And then also, definitely my website, sporty@sportyking.com, www.sportyking.com. You can get the book. Comes with a free autograph. Every purchase comes with a free autograph. All right, but see some of my other products there. And again, recognize that next Tuesday, I'm going to have it posted today. I'll be doing the final in my series on change and success. And that'll be Tuesday at 6 o'clock Eastern. So let's see what we're going to close again. A wizard with words. Yes. And you're a wizard with words right there with that, because you're using the alliteration. Wizard words. Alliteration is keeping the sound. Usually you like to see it in threes that really sticks, but twos is also part of making alliteration. So a wizard with words, because she could have said a master with words, or a wizard with sounds, but a wizard with words. That's how we make things memorable, is that alliteration. I always like to give literary and literacy messages. And indeed, it's just one of Vic's favorite words. Everybody be safe and blessed. And that's the closing message to everybody. Be safe and be blessed. And Haas says it too. Take care, family. Stay safe and stay alert. That becomes a wonderful key as well. Stay alert and recognize that you're not making mistakes. You're making God stakes. I like that. All right. Look, I'll see you on Friday. We got 3 more Glue Monday and Fridays, because in September, I'm going to using just Glue Wednesday, and I'll be using shorter lessons on Monday and Friday. Thank you. Thank you, Philip, throwing in there. Likewise, be safe. See, new member of the family coming in and saying, yeah, fam, I got you. High fives. All right. Love to all of y'all. Stay safe and be good. I'm going to stay on just a minute to see because it's a tape delay, but the broadcast is technically over. Ciao.